I actually got a text from Jamie, Rogan's producer, who was like, "Did you see?" That's how I found out. He goes, "Did you see Conor's tweet?" I'm like, "No way." So he sends me a snapshot of it. I'm like, "God, that's not even his. I don't even think he would talk like that. That someone hacked his account." And he goes, "I don't think so, man. Everyone tells me it's pretty real." I said, "What did Rogan say?" Rogan thought the same thing.
Sure.
At first, he's like, "That's a hoax, or he's just bullshitting, or trying to create media frenzy." But then. So I checked my sources, legit sources in the business who have credible names, and they're like, "Oh no, it's real."
Was there more than one tweet, or was there just one tweet
tweet
which said, "Thanks for the chatter, I'll see you"?
Yeah, that's all there was. But then I guess by this morning he did another one, said he had a big announcement, then took it down. But this is the thing. So Dana comes on the Herd, and he goes, well. He's fighting at UFC 200, and all the athletes had to fly to Vegas to do the press conference. He didn't want to do that, so I yanked him from the card. I don't buy it. I just don't. And I'm not a conspiracy guy. The more I look into it, the more sources that I talk to, it's over money. And he can't. And when he got up there, he goes, "It's not about money." Because as soon as you bring up money, that's the number one hit to the UFC. They don't pay the athletes like they should. The Reebok deal screwed them over. It's usually about money, and they want to hide that. They want to hide that stuff because
even with Conor.
Yes.
You don't think he's making $10,000 a
okay,
fight?
10 grand.
I mean, $10 million a fight.
Even 10 million. You know how much he makes them? That's the problem. We see 10 million. He should be getting paid more.
Right.
He should be getting paid more. And then let's just go over the PR stuff. So Conor McGregor lives in Ireland, correct?
Yeah.
It's a 14-hour flight to Vegas.
Probably a little less, but yeah, it's your
13
point
and a half.
straight.
I looked up before this. 13 and a half because I knew you were going to argue. 13 and a half. It's planes. So 13 and a half flight, right?
Right, because it's probably not even a direct flight.
Not a direct flight. So 13 and a half hours on a plane to come to a press conference. Now, this day and age, press conferences are old school, man. He could send out a tweet, just like he did. His retirement tweet is the biggest tweet by any pro athlete this year, 2016. I think it's going to be the biggest tweet by an athlete of all time. You say Marshawn Lynch's is bigger?
I looked it up. Marshawn Lynch's retirement tweet has 210,000 retweets. Conor's is already at 160. It's been one day. It's probably going to end up within the next 48 hours.
He'll beat that.
The most retweeted athlete tweet of all time.
Just for context there, his tweet outdid Kobe Bryant's retirement. That's how big he is. Jeez. So when you say fly to Vegas for 14 and a half hours to do a press conference and you're as big as Conor McGregor, it becomes this pissing contest.
It's not just that. His
press
conferences are theatrical. He puts out a lot of energy at his press conferences. It's not like he's just sitting there talking. We all expect him to put on a show, to put on a fight.
Well, he can't do like everyone else. Every other fighter goes, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to do my best, and it's going to be a good fight. I'm going to knock him out. Conor has to come up with this magical, mystic, Mac shit nonstop. It has to be original every single time.
That's right.
Now he's coming off a loss, so it has to be even better, right? He has
Yes.
to come up with different schemes now.
Yes.
So even more pressure's on him. So I just feel like Conor, you can't, Dana's point can't be, well, people say I baby Conor, so this is me showing you he's just like every other fighter. No, that's not true. And if you want to say, well, everyone's the same here, it's not true. Then treat everyone the same. I know people who get cars randomly. I know people get miscellaneous checks. There's people who have in different endorsement deals. The UFC and pro sports in general, not everyone's treated the same.
Yeah.
If you're a super megastar like Conor McGregor, you do not follow the same rules as everyone else.
Right.
He's the biggest draw. He's the biggest gate by far. He also has done the most interviews out of any UFC fighter ever when he did that world tour. I don't know if you know that.
No, I didn't know that.
And we're not talking about LeBron James. I went 17 for 24 shooting tonight, and I look forward to the game. No, bitch. He's come up with magical shit that creates all this hype.
Yep.
So for a guy like him to say, man, I have the biggest fight of my life. I don't want to fly to Vegas. I'm willing to do a press conference here. I'm willing to do whatever you want out of my gym. You can have the press conference in Ireland, but I'm not getting on a plane flying all that way, man. It fucked me up. Last time it fucked me up.
It does fuck you up.
I talked to him. He goes, that
jet lag?
No, I personally talked to him. He goes, when he was in Venice last time we sat down, he goes, bro, they have me doing so much media, man. It's insane. He goes, it's exhausting. He goes, that world tour, I mean, dude, it something has to change. So I think it's that. And the more I look into it, the more sources that I talk to also say it's about money. He wanted $10 million to fight Nate Diaz again. And the UFC was like, no. Now you can go, well, he's under contract. He should be promoting the fight. listen, man, he's the first fighter ever in the history of the UFC who has this power. I told you guys this was going to happen. What'd I say? If I'm Conor McGregor, I'm not doing shit for 20 unless you give me 20 million. Yeah. He has that power to demand that.
And it's right.
But and again, people go, that's ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. He makes the UFC way more money than they pay him.
That's right.
If you break down, it's not even close.
Of course.
And then he's sponsored by Reebok, so he loses money in that. So the potential for him to make more money is there, but he's limited because of the UFC. Mm-hmm. So for a guy of Conor McGregor's stature, win or lose his last fight, he's by far the biggest star. Not even close. Bigger than Ronda, bigger than Brock Lesnar, has the biggest gates of all time. For a guy like that to go, man, you want me to do this? I need 10 mil. Or I'm not going on this fucking press conference that's 15 hours away. That's insane, man. You guys come here. Did anyone ever think about talking, putting their egos to the side and go, listen, here's what we're going to do, Conor. How about we fly our guys out to you and we do it via Skype, via whatever you want, via video, and Nate's here, you're here, or maybe...
None of us would mind that.
No. Like, Conor, the press conferences, we like them, but Conor could do something that would reach more people. The ESPNs, the Foxes, I hate to tell you, man, that shit's outdated. Yeah. It really is. Yeah. Conor's social media, he has more followers than all of them.
Yeah.
More people are going to see what he tweets or Instagrams or Snapchats than any of that.
Yeah.
Not even close.
It's also like for him to, we know that with MMA, you could, at any given time, if he lost to Nate, his value does fall regardless of what. So of course anybody with a brain would take this opportunity and say, I want $10 million, I want $20 million, I make you guys a lot of money. So capitalism, the capitalist, the marketplace says he's worth it, pay me my money.
Well, in that sense, the marketplace, it's proven he's worth
100%.
So the marketplace, he's been proven to be worth more than that. And we're not talking about, people out there are going to say, oh, well, he's selfish. He signed the contract. Well, the only difference is in fighting, if he fights a guy like Nate Diaz who can box his ass off, and he goes in there and gets, let's say, $2 million,
right,
instead of $10 million, and maybe he takes a hit, he's never the same again.
That's right.
So you want to capitalize as much as you can in this sport. And my issue is the UFC can't say, well, we treat everyone the same. No, you don't. You let Ronda pick when she fights. She goes, I'm shooting a movie, so I'm fighting here. Right. Who do you want to fight? Let's see. I want to fight that. We can't do that.
Right.
If you want to say playing favorites,
right. I also sympathize.
But that's fine if you play favorites, but you can't come out.
Be consistent.
Be consistent.
Yeah.
Either you're a good old boy and you run it like Vince McMahon, it's entertainment,
right,
or you're a fucking business.
But don't pull the card.
And you're running and you run it like Roger Goodell.
Yeah, don't pull the card. He's got to do what everybody else does when it's convenient.
Yeah, don't pull by both. Be like, oh, I'm a businessman. You got to come to the press conference.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you're not coming? Fine. You're not fighting.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I don't care. First time ever, guy goes, fuck it. I don't care.
Amazing.
I retire, bitch.
Amazing. And I have to say,
it's good for the sport, and I'll let you go be here, but it's good for the sport. I'm not a hater. What I am is a realist, and I'm a guy who something has to change, because in the NFL, if a guy did this, he has a whole union support him. They have all these laws, they have all these payment benefits where you can't do that to a guy.
I wonder why that happened. I wonder why those unions came about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because think about Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch, best running back in the league. The Super Bowl, bigger than any UFC of ever. Not even fucking close. Marshawn Lynch doesn't do interviews. He sits there and sits silent. Imagine if Roger Goodell went, you're not playing in the biggest game of your life. The union, the NFL Players Union go, get the fuck out of here. You don't have that power. Just run the business. You don't have that power. He can do whatever he wants. You can fine him.
Yeah.
Which is what a businessman would do. You can fine him, but you don't pull him for your card, because who's it hurt now? It hurts Conor.
And the UFC.
It also hurts you, you dumbass. It hurts you.
Yeah.
Because now you could stack UFC with whoever you want. Go and stack with all the guys. None of them are a draw like Conor. They're just not.
That's right.
And when you say, oh, well, the brand's bigger than the fighter, you're wrong.
Agreed.
You're dead wrong. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and get rid of Conor, Ronda.
Even Nate now. Even
Nate's
Cowboy, all those guys,
Those guys, those aren't on the same level. There's only a couple. There's very few guys who are huge mega draws who have this power.
Well, human beings identify with like their players. I identify with the
fighters,
not with a brand.
No. I identify with what's right and wrong. I identify with bullies. When someone's being a bully, you can see that. And for the first time, I think everyone's looking at it wrong. Conor's being a baby. Conor this kind. No, you guys are looking at it wrong. For our sport, this is good, man. Yeah. This is good.
We're in the
leather helmet.
Yeah.
And then finally, someone's going to go, dude, what the fuck? You don't think Conor could sell out a stadium if he was fighting Dada fucking 5,000 in Dublin and had two cameras? His mom and his brother grabbed cameras and filmed it?
Yeah.
He's going to get huge ratings. He does not need the UFC. And for the first time, we have a guy like this.
Yeah.
And also, everyone else sucks Dana White's dick. When he says jump, they say how high? When you ask this badass Irishman to jump, he went, I don't think so. Matter of fact, pay me if you want me to jump that much.
Yeah.
We need this, guys.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
I agree with you.
It's not a bad thing at all.
I agree with you
100%. The more I look into it and the more I talk to people, it's like he wanted more money and he also wanted to do the press tour. And Dana has this whole ego thing, even with the Reebok deal, and it's like there comes a point where it's going to hurt your business. Now, you are batshit crazy if you think Conor McGregor's going to retire. I promise you guys he fights very soon, if not Madison Square Garden. I guarantee you Dana has people around who are more level-headed who are saying, listen, I know the contract says this. I know you expect him to do this. Look what you've done over here before, though. Look what you've done over here. We can't ride and die on that. The more we look into it, it's just we don't have an argument. We actually need this guy. For the first time in our
they're gonna have to bend
in this organization. We're gonna have to come to agreement with this guy. He has that much power. What are you gonna do? No, there's gonna be another Conor McGregor. Not in your lifetime, buddy.
No,
guarantee you there won't be.
And we want to see him.
He always says that. There'll be another John Jones, another Conor McGregor. You're dead wrong. There'll be another Ronda Rousey. Not in our lifetime. Fighters don't come around like that. It's not the NFL. There's no draft. There's no crop of college talented badasses. There's not. They take away those 3 stars. Name a star and fucking go.
Yeah.
There's none.
And part of it might be also a couple things. One, I think the way the incentive structure and the pay structure for fighting in general in UFC is that it's hard to attract big talent, but also the way they structure their business model, it doesn't allow people to feel good about themselves. It doesn't allow people to flourish. They are always beating you over the head with the idea that UFC is bigger
I also
than you
think
are.
for the first time, like I said, we have a guy who is fighting back, man. Like anyone who's ever been bullied out there, anyone who has a boss who's like, do this. You're like, man, I don't want that. That's not right to me. I'm worth more than this.
And by the way,
that's not right to me. So I think you guys need to gather around this and support this shit. Conor doesn't owe you anything. He didn't ruin UFC 200. The owner of the organization did. There has to be an agreement. It's not his way or the highway. Conor's bigger than that, and this is a good thing.
Yeah.
So I think.
Are you sure that's how it went down? Where he said, "I'll yank you from the card," and Conor said, "I'm going to retire."
Positive.
You are positive.
Positive.
Wow.
Why would I? Come on, B. What are we doing?
I don't know.
What am I speculating?
Yeah.
No,
people
it's out
speculate
there
all the time. All right.
Well, no, Dana
Dana
went
that.
on the herd and said that exact thing.
Wow.
Why would I?
And he said, "I'll take you from the card. I'll pull you from the card." That's amazing.
He said, "You got to do what everyone else does. Or I'm pulling for the card."
So here's also another thing to think about, and you know this from traveling as a fighter. I certainly know this as a stand-up, but it may seem like 14 hours on a plane and doing a press conference is no big deal. You have to understand that when you are training on his level and you have to sit in a plane and you have to deal with jet lag and your sleep patterns get screwed up, it will affect not only your training, but I'm sorry, but it can also open you up for injury. It's exhausting. You're not going to be your best. He's got an insane war ahead of him. He's got to fight.
But if you're worldwide, did anyone think to have press conferences in Ireland? Why not have
Skype it? You got technology.
But let's say you want to do it in person. Did anyone ever think to bring Nate Diaz to Ireland?
Well,
no, even though he beat him, Conor is still the draw.
But then Dana would have to go to Ireland.
I don't give a flying fuck.
I'm saying the party would have to move to Ireland.
That's the power of Conor McGregor.
Well,
and what's Dana have to get ready for?
Yeah.
Put on a suit and sit there and watch the baddest man on the planet and figure out who's going to fight next?
Listen.
Who gives a fuck if he has to fly?
Listen.
You have your golden pony. You have Nate Diaz. You know, maybe me in the middle. I don't know. But to treat him like everyone else this time because it works for your game
plan. Not only that,
it's
also to take your golden pony and say, really, I'll yank you from the card.
See, that's an ego thing. And that's where an ego thing comes in.
I mean, yeah, and he doesn't need it.
It's just weird to me. And then the other thing that's weird to me is it's a double-edged sword because also why the UFC got big so fast because not a lot of other guys do this. But at the same time, no one thinks it's a little weird that Dana goes on a press conference to talk about the drama in the UFC. Is that not weird to anybody? Can you imagine Roger Goodell did this? Roger Goodell's a straight businessman, run a very successful corporation. When Marshawn Lynch didn't come out, he goes, we'll talk with the people, we'll figure it out, and we'll access it from, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we'll plan accordingly. He got fined. Boom.
Yeah. Game
goes on. There's no press conference. No, you can't have the owner of your organization want to be a celebrity. It's fucking weird to me. Is that not weird to anyone?
Yeah, I mean...
and again, I'm not a hater, man, but these are discussions that people should have.
Well, does Roger Goodell doesn't have cameras following him everywhere?
He could. Oh, you think Dana's more famous than Roger Goodell? Oh, that's so cute. You realize America has an entire day dedicated to the NFL.
Correct.
Sunday.
That's right.
And now they have Thursday.
That's
right.
right.
They also have Monday.
No,
it's the biggest.
It's not even in
it's
the
not
same
even close.
area.
Oh, you don't think Roger Goodell could have cameras around him? That's so cute. It's just weird, man.
It's the same mistake.
And you're batshit crazy if you think it's over a press conference. Guarantee it's about money, and that's the number one Achilles heel with the UFC is money. And when you find out how much they're paying the fighters to how much they're making, you will be shocked if those numbers ever truly come out. You will be shocked. And as much money as Conor's making, $10 million seems like life-changing. As much as he's making the UFC, they should write him that fucking check.
First of all, let's break down what $10 million really means to a fighter. And
Well, it doesn't matter. $10 million's a lot of money. We don't have to go through the whole camp. We've done that before. No, but it's a lot of money.
But no, hold on. What I'm saying is that he'll see of that after he pays off everybody and taxes. I wouldn't be surprised if he saw less than half. Just as an actor, I know how much I see. Less than half. And it could be as small as $4 million. I don't know what the tax rate is. But it's very hard to hold on to all of that money. And I'm just saying, like we say in MMA, could be his last fight. Could be his, he may have 3 fights after, we don't know. But that for a guy like Conor, if that's your big ticket, that you go for as much money as you possibly can.
You have to, man. Because you think Dana's gonna watch after him if he loses his next fight? You think they're gonna do him any favors? No, and he has no power anymore. The other thing is too, Conor's at a level where if he wanted to go do the Floyd Mayweather thing, throw his own promotion, you know how much more money he would make? So the potential for him to make more money is out there.
Do you have any idea? Can you speculate on what you think his contract is?
I really can't because he redid it, and then if it's not a title fight compared to a title fight, obviously he gets pay-per-view percentages, stuff like that. It'd be tough, man.
But do you think do they typically try to lock you up with somebody like that with 6 fights, or is it?
It's usually 6 fights. Yeah,
it is.
It's usually 6 fights, and then you have to have a certain number of pay-per-view buys, which for Conor's not an issue, to get points. Pay-per-view points,
right?
And the most points for a while was Brock Lesnar. Now, I'm assuming Conor's now,
right?
But I'm not even gonna try jumbling these numbers. But he's the highest paid. He's the biggest star. I guarantee you, he's gonna fight again in the UFC. And all the comments, like even our fan questions, people go, just go to Bellator. It doesn't work like that, man. Like even now, I retired. There's no loophole in the contract that says, if you retire, you're out.
You owe them a certain number of fights before you get out of your
there's the
contract.
champions clause too, which actually, if you retire as a champion, it actually extends your contract.
Yeah, so the reason why the UFC is who the UFC is, obviously great promoting. They have the best fighters in the world. They have the best lawyers. Like, what I didn't realize in my last contract that I signed, 6-fight deal, is if you're hurt, it extends the contract. So let's say I have a fight, I break my nose and I have surgery, and it's a horrible surgery, and I'm out, let's say 6 months, they're going to extend your contract by 6 months.
Damn.
Because they can say, you could have fought then for us, but since you didn't, we're going to extend it. Because you had the potential to fight and you didn't.
But
if you turn down a fight, they extend your contract.
Wow. But I thought it was based on fights, not on time.
Nope.
Damn.
It just depends.
Yeah. They got they got you locked up basically.
They're the
those
best in the
contracts.
world with the contracts.
Yeah.
Always have been.
Yeah.
Which is smart of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's interesting though. But
Well,
again, it's a good conversation to have, man. I just think these conversations are vital for the growth of the sport. You know, to say that the UFC is bigger than anything, man, Conor goes to Bellator, and he might be bigger. He might be bigger because imagine if Spike put him on televised TV on
not
Spike.
only that,
You know,
I think
Kimbo and Ken Shamrock are pulling numbers. What do you think's going to happen if Conor?
If someone like Conor went, you could see a mass exodus. It would legitimize Bellator to the extent where you'd see a lot of fighters the minute their contract.
I guarantee the UFC has him so wrapped up, and they can also freeze his contract like did Randy Couture. You know, there's certain stuff they can do.
So when but
the only time where I think, you know, I see all you guys' conspiracy theories, and some are very thought out and some are very good. The only way I could see this being a honey dick situation is if there's only one person who could save UFC 200 and make it a big draw. His name's George St. Pierre. And if George St. Pierre randomly fills in after Conor leaves, then I might be a little suspect. I think Conor is a little upset, but for Dana to pull him so fast, I think we might be.
That's interesting.
Honey-dicked. I could see this
That's
being
interesting. So,
but what did George say? George was on MMA Hour with the great Ariel Helwani, and he goes, "Man, I'd love to come back, but the Reebok deal's just too bad. Like, I couldn't agree to that. You're talking about an international superstar in George St. Pierre who was signed by Under Armour and had Nike coming after him.
Wow.
He chose between all these big companies.
Wow.
You're talking about a legit superstar, fucking runs Canada, one of the best fighters of all time. Oh, Reebok, what are you going to pay me?" He laughs at it. So he goes, UFC's either going to have to make up for it in my contract or Reebok's going to have to make up for it.
Oh, yeah.
But I ain't fighting for that bullshit.
No. And again,
he's sponsored by Under Armour.
That you'd be crazy not to do that.
Now, if I'm the UFC, I'm going, all right, Reebok, this has been a terrible idea. We've sold 7 fight kits, and the ones that we have, the names have been misspelled. Now listen, we need George St. Pierre.
Of course you do.
We're going to need you guys to put up some money. You guys have really given us a black guy. Is there any way you can pay George this much money? Mm-hmm. And they should go right away, sir. Yeah. Right away.
I agree.
It's George St. Pierre.
My guess is that I would imagine that Reebok wants to divest.
I would imagine Reebok went, holy fuck, let's stick to CrossFit.
Yeah. They've had a tough time of it, haven't they?
Tough time would be a friendly word.
Yeah. Mismanaged and just not.
We sell more shirts than them. This small podcast, I will bet any amount of money on it. We can share numbers if you want, Reebok. We sell more shirts per month than they do fight
You're going
kits.
to piss them off, dude.
Oh, no. Please don't send me old school Reebok.
They've already taken you.
Taking me off what?
You
I was
can't
just on
find
UFC
Schaub
tonight.
kit.
Oh, you're talking about, I don't care. No one buys them. I think one guy has one, maybe. They took them down before you could order them. I think people ordered them, they refunded their money. Type move. If there's, you don't think I make my own? I could literally make my own, make it fighting kid style.
I know.
You don't think it'd be better? We can play this game. Listen, man, I'm a detailed guy. We can do it if you want.
Oh, man.
Either way, though, crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then Nate, poor Nate Diaz. Like, the only way that he's gonna ever make as much money as he did is if he fights Conor or if he fights George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
If they toss him Robbie Lawler or Woodley or someone like that,
yeah.
It's just not.
No.
They
have to save that card, don't they? I mean, they have to save that card with a big name.
There's one
other
man,
guy.
There's one man on this planet who can save UFC 200.
And that's George St. Pierre.
Yes. I am not impressed. He talks like that. And he's a great guy, and he's a hell of an athlete. He's the only guy. But again, you have to jump through these loopholes.
Hey, Evan, when was the last time George St. Pierre fought? When did he fight Johnny Hendricks? How long ago was that?
God, that was what, 2014?
2014. He took some time off.
A long time.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen guys do it.
Yeah.
It's tough for him to come back.
Yeah.
It's tough for him to, yeah.
Is it?
If anyone could do it, it's George. George wouldn't come back unless he was ready. He's also training with guys who are up and coming and monsters.
It's November of 2013, actually.
Wow. He's been talking, though, about coming back. He's been talking a lot.
Well, yeah, I just told you. He was on MMA Hour there, Helwani. And he doesn't care about fighting for belts. He just wants to fight the biggest names.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Give me a lot of money.
But again, you're going to have to
How old is George now?
You're going to have to check your ego and pay the man what he's worth.
Yeah.
He's not wearing Reeboks.
He's 34.
He's young, hasn't taken a lot of punishment either.
No, he hasn't.
And very, very smart with his body. Listen, I know George, man. He wouldn't come back if he wasn't ready.
No, he
He's
would
a
not.
fucking monster.
Yeah.
He'd give anyone in the world fritz. But again, there's only one fucking bat signal you can put in the sky to save this card. And he's Canadian, and he has a very high voice. And he's a fucking badass.
I have to make a point of my life.
He fucking loves dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. How weird is that?
So
he goes,
funny.
he goes, I love
Three things get me excited in life at this point: women, dinosaurs, and the violence of the octagon.
What is it, the greatest quote of all time?
Fantastic.
Is that not the best?
Women, dinosaurs, and the violence of the octagon.
He used to, in the back of his, he had like a big Q45 Infinity, this big white one. He picked me up in Montreal. He used to have the Art of War in the back of his car. And there's just pages like crumpled and like marked. Yeah, he's a beast.
Nate Marquardt told me he's a really good chess player. Like he's got a really
smart
good strategic
dude, man.
mind.
Very smart guy.
He'll break you down. He will find the hole in your game. He will find where you have one little window open in your house.
That's the only time I'd get skeptical hippo eyes. If George announces like in the next week or so he's coming back, look at my face.
You got hippo eyes right now?
That's skeptical hippo eyes. You ever seen that meme?
Yeah.
A skeptical hippo?
No.
He looks like the most skeptical person you've ever seen in your life. I'll show you after this. He's hilarious.
Skeptical hippo eyes.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, if George comes back, then something fishy. Either way, man.
Something
Conor
fishy
McGregor
is
stuff.
going
I love
on.
it. I think it's what the sport needs. It's a good discussion to have. So again, just to sum up the questions before we get to, when we jump to fan questions, none of them are on there, hopefully. But can't go to Bellator, can't fight for another organization. They own his rights. And he's not scared of Nate Diaz. He actually asked for the fight against his management, against the UFC brass opinions. He was like, no, I need this fight again. I need to get this back. So anything of him being scared, that you don't get to the UFC by being scared of anybody.
Yeah.
Him fighting in Bellator is not happening. So all those questions, please stop.